Hello everyone, this is Anthony Jaghab and I'm going to show you my bank account system created with John Socci and Anthony Alvarez. And today I'm going to debug that program, show you all the menus and each edge case of the program, of the program, and so we can test if it really works or not. So this is our first iteration of the program, and we're going to begin by, I'm going to show you that we are starting on a clean slate. We're going to create an account today, and I'm going to show you how the files are created and read from on new instances of the program. And right now, this is our actual folder for the source code of the program, and there's no text files in here. So that means, well, this is a brand new program, a brand new account we're going to create. So there is nothing for previous because we're creating a brand new account from the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and debug the program and show you just that. So here's our main window, BAS, short for Bank Account System. And here is the splash screen. Very nice and neat, very creative, I know. And here's our login system right here. We have 4 options to choose from. We have login, forgot login, help, and exit. So for this instance, we're a brand new user. I want to learn how to log into the bank account system. So how we do that is, well, we're going to select forgot login. It's going to tell us very nicely that our username and password can be found in the provided text file. To save some time, there's going to be a text file when you download the program that tells you your username and password. And just to save on that information, that username and password is going to be admin. So that's a username and password. So with that information being said, we're going to try to log in with that information. However, I made a typo, for example, like that. I'm going to try to log in with that, and it's going to tell us the credentials you've entered is invalid, and it's going to take us back to the login screen. So we're going to try again. This time, we fixed our errors, and we're going to log in correctly. Our typos, I should say. So here's our main account window. We have 6 options to choose from. We can either withdraw, make a deposit, we can check our balance as it is, and view transactions, log out, or exit the program entirely. What I want to do actually is I want to check our balance. So this is a brand new account we've created, admin, and I want to check our balance. And it tells us, hello Anthony, your balance is 0. So why does it say 0? So let's take a look at this. We've just created a new account. Our balance cannot be negative because we don't owe the bank money, and our balance cannot be positive because we've never made a deposit into this account. So 0 is the only possible balance we can have for this bank account. So that's right. Now, if we go to view transactions, it's going to say unable to open file. Now, we've never made a transaction, so it has no file to look up in the bank account system. So that is actually correct as well. Now, what we're going to do to bootstart this account system is we're going to make a deposit because we need to make a deposit to make a withdrawal at some point. And now, what is our deposit going to be? Well, it's going to be sand. Let's see if we can deposit sand into our bank account. Now, that tells us it's invalid. Sand is obviously not a currency and not a valid alpha digit character. So it's not a numerical character. So therefore, you cannot enter it. You can't enter a string or sand in this example. That doesn't make any sense. But I just want to show you that there are edge cases where in normal programming, this would break the program, but I've actually did some error checking to prevent that. So the value you've entered is invalid. The amount should be between 0 and 1,000. So it can be equal to 1,000. So that's very important to know. So we're going to go back and we're going to make a deposit of 1,000. And now it's a success. You've deposited $1,000 and our balance is 1,000. Now let's try some more edge cases. We're going to deposit 0. Well, you cannot deposit 0 because it's not greater than 0. And also, can you make a deposit if you deposit nothing? It's not really a deposit if you ask me. So that doesn't work either. -1 will not work either because that's not greater than 1. So it seems like all the edge cases work except for a value greater than 1,000. For example, 1,001 or 10,000 we could have entered, and that does not work either. So we've tested all the edge cases, it seems, and we're good to go. Now, we want to check our balance. Our balance is now 1,000. We made that deposit. Let's just verify that with our transaction history. If we go to transaction history, we're going to view that our deposit is indeed 1,000. It stores a list of IDs as well. That's important to note because the program is going to lay out each of these transactions in each line on a text file. And so the first line of the text file is a deposit, and it's an amount of 1,000. So that's our transactional history. I should note also that our bank account system is very nice and grateful, I should say, to our customers. We include your name in every single window because we love our customers very much. We indeed want your business, so we will write your name next to each action you make in this bank account system. I thought that was a little bit neat. We're going to make a withdrawal now. We want to withdraw some money because I want to go out with my friends. We want to eat some pizza. I need $20. Luckily, that works because it's an increment of 20. Well, 20 being the minimum you can withdraw. And so our balance is now $980. Now let's see if I want to withdraw $10. Can we do that? No, we can't. So the amount must be at least $20. And the interesting part is we can withdraw more than $1,000. So you can only deposit up to $1,000. The bank terms of service only allows that. However, the bank is nice enough to lend you all of your money except for $5. You are not allowed to withdraw more than $5. Or you can withdraw as much money as you want as long as $5 remains in your account. So that's good. We're going to go ahead and view the transactions, and it's going to say you've made a withdrawal. That's ID number 2 or line 2. And the withdrawal, it's a transaction type of withdrawal, $20. Now, if we view our balance, it's going to be $980, and that's correct. You can also view it the same way by knowing that a deposit is a net income and a withdrawal is a loss of income. So you can find the difference between those and find out your balance. But we don't have all the time to do the math, so we check our balance with the menu number 3, which will display that for you. Now, I'm leaving the bank. I want to log out, and I want to exit the program, just like that. So I've left the program. I want to show you that these text files are now created. So I highlighted all the files from before, and 2 new ones have been created. We have balance. That stores our balance for each increment, and we have transactions just like this. Now if we open back the program, I'm going to show you that it has reading capabilities for your account. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that. Let's skip all the edge cases for login and just log in with admin. And we're going to check our balance, and it is indeed $980. So that is a success. And if we view our transactions, we have our same transactions as before. Now, let's just look at the code for all of this. I'm going to describe each purpose of each function, and hopefully I can do that pretty quickly here. I'm going to kind of breeze over it so it doesn't take too long. But we have a check car method that takes a string and another string that is default is alpha. If you don't enter anything there, its default is alpha. But if you enter anything else, like is digit, then it'll check that string for that. So basically what it does is it checks first what your method type is. So we want to check if the string contains all alphanumeric characters, and so it does that. And it loops through each character in that string, so one at a time. And what it's really doing is it's counting each non-alpha it finds. So it does the same with digits. If it finds any character that's non-digital or non-numeric, it's going to count the non-digits and return those values as type int. Now, if you want to check if your string that you input is all alphanumeric, what you'd enter is, first you would check if the return type of this method with your string as the argument and whatever is alpha or is digit, whatever you're trying to check, those characters are. You want to check if the return type of check car is 0. If it's 0, that means it found non-alpha or non-digital or numeric characters in each character of that string. So that's how you're going to check that. We have validate student, which is an old method. We're going to breeze through that. Login, this is just a login window, and it checks if the username is admin, and it gives me my first name, which is Anthony. It's hard coded in. And if it's not those, it's invalid. And then if login success, which is a boolean up here, we first declare it as false because it saves some code. We don't have to have an else statement in here to write login success equals false. We just check if it's true, open up the main menu function. And here's forget login, just tells us. Help just tells us login with the admin credentials. The withdraw window, which is up here, tells us how much we're going to withdraw. It first takes an input as a string, and then it converts that string. It checks the characters if it's all digital. If it's greater than 0, which if it just counts one character that's non-digital, it's going to say invalid amount, which is good. And if it's not, we're going to declare double. That's going to convert the input string to a type double, and it's going to store that in amount. And then we write to amount, we write the transaction history, and we write the balance into that text file, right, with these two methods. And then the error is that you have to enter at least, whatever. Deposit is very much the same thing. You just increase. So basically when you do it, all you're really doing is the balance is now equal to itself plus amount rather than balance itself minus amount. So that's the difference between this deposit and a withdrawal. It's very simple. Then we have check balance that reads balance. There's a method called read balance, and you input a file name, which is balance.txt. And then we have a void transactions method that views the transaction history of the program, and it views all of the history using the display trans method, which is short for display transactions. Void logout is the void logout screen. We have login menu, which displays the logins, and a switch case statements to choose between those depending on what number you enter. And if you enter anything else, it's going to say it's not a valid menu item. And same thing goes for the account window. We just have the menus like this. We have the switch case statements, and then we have everything else. So we have enter info. We can add a student. That was something that is not actually necessary in this program. We don't have students. That was an old idea, but I never removed the code. So we're gonna remove that actually. We're gonna breeze through it. So now we're gonna look at write balance. This is one of the methods I basically copied from our given methods we were supplied, and I changed it up just to read amount from the text file and check if it's a double as well. We have write transaction method, which is the same as write to data file, write data to file, but it only takes these arguments instead. It doesn't take a first or last name argument, and I'm hard-coded, as was the student's text file, hard-coded the transactions text file to read in, and it displays all of this as well. We have some other methods that necessarily weren't used. There was one method used, get last line, that was provided for us, which is very useful for our balance. So for example, here's our balance. It records each one in each line, our balance as each transaction goes, and I get the last line. So that's our last balance, our actual balance for our bank account. So that's really useful as well. This file exists method that checks if a file is actually existing in the file system. Also checks get ID. That's not really used in this program. Center is just something that's nice for displaying the transactional history. And then we have read balance, a method I've created that actually reads the file from the file. You input a file name as an argument, and it reads that file. It checks if you're allowed to open it, and if it is open, it's going to read amount. The amount is, the last line. So amount will equal the last line in that file. So in file is the file we've created, and this converts to string. Add of takes a string, which is this, takes this string and converts it to a double, which amount is actually right here, and then it returns that. Display transaction displays all transactions. Display data displays all the data. Did not use the data one. I had to copy this function and revise it to display transactions. So ID transaction amount instead of first and last name. And then we have the to uppercase method that takes each character and makes it to uppercase, I should say. Makes each character in the string uppercase. Did not need to use that. Search, void search. Searches for first and last name, did not need to use that. We don't need a search through transactions. It displays all of them. And yeah, that is about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from this program with a brief insight into the code. And I hope that you find it useful. Thank you for watching.